Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so I gotta say this moment right here might have been the final nail in Gavin Newsom's political career's coffin. Gavin's had some really bad moments here, but if there's one moment that takes the cake, if there's one moment that really, and I mean really shows you exactly who Gavin Newsom is, well then it's this one. It's so obvious that this guy's trying to pull a fast one. The worst governor in modern American history strikes again. Let's continue covering this collapse of Gavin. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so like I said, I think this is it. We've obviously had Gavin Newsom on the ropes for a while now, but after this latest blunder, I think it's officially over. Gavin's career is done. Finished. Pack it up, buddy. Pack your bags. Because I think the recall vote is right around the corner. And let me tell you, I think this might be one of the biggest political upsets in California's history. Not even the illegal aliens could save Gavin Newsom this time, because this is bad. Take a look at this clip.
I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full. The state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation, to understand what was happening with that local reservoir. That was not a state system reservoir, which the president-elect was referring to as it relates to the Delta and somehow connecting the Delta smelt to this fire, which is inexcusable because it's inaccurate, also incomprehensible to anyone that understands water policy in the state.
My understanding is that you have put a call into President-elect Trump. Has he called you back?
No, that was months ago. That was after his victory. So I look forward to him, again, coming out here in the spirit of cooperation.
Forgive me for interrupting you, but you did invite him to come out here. Have you had any response?
No.
Nothing.
Wow, just wow. There he is in an interview claiming that it's misinformation to say that the reservoirs were empty, even though we all know the Palisades Reservoir, the Santa Ynez Reservoir, has been essentially bone dry since the summer of 2024. And in this moment, even the reporter looks confused, like, Governor, wasn't the reservoir actually empty for months? And what does Gavin Newsom do? Does he admit he's wrong? Does he apologize? Does he say, oh, well, I might have had the facts wrong or the information wrong? No, he's given the opportunity to appeal to the sensible crowd, but instead he grins and says, well, that's my point. Your point? Your point, Gavin. He says the reservoir was full. The guy says, no, it was empty. And then he says, yeah, that's what I was saying. No, you literally just said the exact opposite. It's clearer than ever, folks. The Democrats have one political strategy left. And what is that? It's lie, lie, lie. Lie like it's going out of style. That's all they've got in the playbook now. These Democrat leaders have ruined their credibility with years of gaslighting, bad policies, and incompetence. And now they're hoping, I guess, that you're either too stupid or too checked out from the political process, or maybe too forgiving to notice. But I'm not so sure that's the case, and that's where the problem for Gavin Newsom and his cronies arises, because it seems as though nowadays, people just aren't falling for it anymore. The jig is up. And like I always say, once you wake up, it's hard to go back to sleep. You know, I don't know if this lullaby that Gavin Newsom is humming here, I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know if it's slick enough to put the people back to sleep. He's clearly trying to play some slick rhetorical games here. He's trying to make a distinction between state reservoirs and non-state reservoirs, and that's his big gotcha moment. But I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. What's the claim, that the Santa Ynez Reservoir is not his responsibility? It all falls within the state's responsibilities. Oh, well, you know, we had a reservoir 100 miles away that was full, therefore, nothing's my fault, it's everybody else's fault, and people are just pushing misinformation. It's absurd. He'd rather play these rhetorical games than actually address the failures of his leadership. The Santa Ynez Reservoir was empty, and that was the reservoir serving the Palisades area. You're the governor of the state. It's your job to keep the people safe. But this guy obviously has no interest in his duties. He has no interest in the facts. He only has interest in saving his own skin, and clearly he's totally willing to peddle actual misinformation, such as, the reservoirs are full, I don't know what Donald Trump is talking about. He'd rather take that angle than take any responsibility. No, of course not. He does what every other Democrat does. He lies and of course plays the victim, right? You always need to play the victim if you want to morally grandstand and pretend as if you're on the moral high ground. Donald Trump and his insults, Gavin Newsom says. This guy's such a freaking clown, it's unbelievable. You know what's an insult? Lying to the American people in their freaking face, expecting them to be stupid stupid enough to buy your crap, but he's focused on, oh, I'm being insulted by Donald Trump just because he disagrees with me. No, Gavin, nobody's insulting you. You're being criticized. There's a difference. But obviously, within the world of Democrat thinking, criticism is just an attack. At least that's the strategic play that they always use because it allows them to assume a defensive position, they posture defensively, and try to flip the script and make Donald Trump seem like the bad guy. But obviously the statement is baseless. Donald Trump is attacking Gavin Newsom. When did he attack you, Gavin? Please, can we have an example of Donald Trump attacking you? No, of course not, because it doesn't exist. Calling for Gavin Newsom to resign is not an attack. Calling Gavin Newsom incompetent is not an attack, it's an observation. Calling him a bad, failed leader is not an attack, they're just accurate observations. But obviously Gavin Newsom doesn't want to engage in that, no, because he operates in this fairy tale land where he's right about everything, and his leadership cannot be questioned. Well, you know what, Gavin? Your leadership is being questioned. Your bogus narratives, your lies, your track record, your incompetence. People are questioning why the reservoirs were empty, and that's not an attack. But most importantly, people are questioning, and really finally they're asking this question, they're questioning why you're the leader of their state. And I think most people are struggling to reconcile with that. They're struggling to find a good answer to that question. And clearly your answers, and your pathetically built, crumbling narratives, well, clearly they aren't convincing anyone. I mean, just crazy. Just the other day we had Adam Schiff lying about the reservoirs. Now we've got Gavin Newsom lying about the reservoirs. It's funny how that always works. Whenever there's a story that's negative for Democrats, it's always misinformation, huh? The Hunter Biden laptop story, Russian disinformation. Empty reservoirs, disinformation. Democrats pushing critical race theory on kids, disinformation. Democrats pushing gender ideology on kids, it's disinformation. It's not actually happening. No, it is happening. And I think finally the people are seeing it. And so Gavin Newsom can blah, blah, blah. He can squawk all he wants. But at the end of the day, guess who's really going to answer the question? It's the people. I guess the question is the rhetoric that Gavin Newsom is currently pushing convincing people? I don't know. I'm not so sure, but I think we're going to find out pretty soon because a recall effort against Newsom is now underway in California following the alleged mishandling of LA fires. And so who knows? We might have a rematch between Larry Elder and Gavin Newsom, and it was pretty close last time. Well, now after all of this, after everything that's transpired, I just have a feeling it's going to be even closer, maybe even blowout territory. I really believe that Gavin Newsom's political career is freaking over. It's done. You know, we've seen politicians fall to way less, and now with everything that we've seen here, with everything that's been exposed, I just don't see how Gavin Newsom wins re-election as governor or is ever put on the general election ballot as the Democratic nominee. Gavin Newsom has become a totally disgraced leader, and I think his time in politics might be coming to a crashing end. But of course, we'll have to see, and only time will tell. But anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.